Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam, here to give you some NBA player props to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. So, recording this early, Monday, November 28th. Got some NBA player props up here on the OddsJam positive expected value page. So, let's get into it. The first play that I'm going to lock in here, and I'll use this play to kind of chat about the OddsJam system and the positive expected value betting system and all that stuff. Karl Anthony Towns over 8.5 rebounds. So the play is at minus 109 odds at Bet Rivers. All in all, equates to a profit margin of 4.24%. So the reason why this bet has positive expected value is because the OddsJam perfect line, no vig odds that you see here, price this at about minus 119. And as you remember, we are getting this Karl Anthony Towns play at minus 109. So the 10-cent gap between these two numbers, that's where you get your positive expected value from. And it's important to understand where these no vig odds come from. OddsJam, it's basically, long story short, these no vig odds, the OddsJam perfect line, pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world in terms of pricing odds. The sportsbooks that do the best job are the most accurate over the course of time at pricing odds. And OddsJam back tested betting opportunities to come up with this this formula. So it's not just like anecdotally, oh, we think these sportsbooks are the best. No, they back tested thousands of betting opportunities, collected millions of historical data points in terms of historical betting opportunities, and used that and said, okay, these sportsbooks historically do the best, so we're going to use them to set the markets moving forward. In this case, again, they priced this Karl Anthony Towns one at minus 119. And so anywhere in which basically you beat the OddsJam perfect line will be profitable. The bigger the gap between these two numbers, the better the positive EV play, the higher your EV percent. And this percent here can be viewed as your expected profit margin. So for this bet, I recommend putting about 1 unit on it. My calculator's telling me to put about 1.15. I generally, for player props, don't put more than a unit on it. I love betting player props, just the variance is a little bit higher, so I like to have my unit sizing a little bit lower with player props. So this one I recommend putting 1 full unit on. For me, that is $100. So I could, expect to make about $4.23 on this play. So not breaking the bank by any means, but a couple things to keep in mind. It's just one bet, and it's going to be realized tonight. So I would, for those of you watching this, think about how many bets you place over the course of a day, and this $4.24 turns into 15, 20, 25, 50, $100, depending on your unit sizing, your bankroll. So that's the math behind it. Obviously, anybody can just look at this page and say, and look in 4 seconds, say no vig odds, percent, cool. There is stuff that I like to do to make sure that I'm placing the most profitable bets. Now, everything on the positive EV page is going to be profitable and will probably be profitable in the long run. But if you want to be a little more selective and place the best of the best, here's what you can do. Number one, if you click open a play, you click anywhere in this little blue rectangle here, it pulls up where every sportsbook is pricing odds for this play. And basically what we're trying to do is determine whether the bet that we are placing is an outlier compared to the rest of the betting markets. And the most important sportsbooks that we look for, BetOnline is one of them. They price us all the way up at minus 147, so heavily favoring the Karl Anthony Towns over 8.5 rebounds. And there are two other books, DraftKings, which looks like it doesn't have odds posted yet, and then Pinnacle, which is pulled from the sharpest sportsbook in the world. And then if you open this page up in a new tab, I was hoping to see, but every book has it priced at 8.5, so there's no more information to glean from here. But sometimes you'll see it's normally with props with higher totals, like points and stuff, but you'll see like one sportsbook have something priced at like 8.5, and we're taking it over, and other sports books will have it priced at 9.5. So we'll get other sports books have the total itself priced higher. Not the case here with this rebounds prop, but still a really good play. Karl Anthony Towns over 8.5 rebounds. This is going to be my first betting pick for today. Now, the next one that I like here is this De'Aaron Fox under 5.5 assists. This is at plus 105 at Bet365. And similar logic here, right? The no vig odds price this at about minus 101 if we want to round up. We are getting it at minus 105. So that gap equates to a profit margin of just under 3%, about 2.9%. My recommended bet size is telling me about 70. And this is just a formula based on your bankroll, based on the odds that you're placing the bet at, and based on the win percentage. And the win percentage is based off of the OddsJam no vig line, the OddsJam perfect line. So for those of you who might not know this, all odds have a win percentage associated with it. And for me, probably just because I'm a math data guy, I find it fascinating. Basically, whenever sportsbooks are pricing odds to a play, all they're doing is assigning a win percentage. So they like, okay, we think this bet's going to hit 52.3% of the time. So then they'll just convert those to odds. In this case, the minus 100.77 equates to a win percentage of 50.2%. So in terms of this amount to wager, the more favorable the odds are, and more favorable meaning towards the sports bettor, which means the higher payouts, the higher the amount to wager goes up. And same thing with the win percentage. So it's kind of a formula based on those two things. I would round this up, long story short, to $75. So 3/4 of a unit on this one. And look at the rest of the betting markets, which is why I like this one. BetOnline has this at minus 111. FoxBet has it at minus 110. So still not as good. They're still kind of favoring the over in terms of how they're pricing it, but still pretty good considering they're still both minus 110 or better. And look at the rest of the sports books. PointsBet minus 120, favoring the under. FanDuel minus 122, favoring the under. Caesars has it at 50-50. DraftKings, and that's really important, favoring the under at minus 120, the over at minus 110. And we're getting it for plus money. So because we're getting it at plus 105 means that we don't even have to win 50% of the time in order to make money. We could win 50% of the time and still be profitable. So that's the beauty of getting plays at plus money. Obviously, you don't need your win percentage. Doesn't need to be as high. And I love situations like this where you're getting a play for plus money, where majority of books actually think that that's the favored outcome. Like if you look across the board, more sports books than not think that the under is more likely. So they're pricing it heavier, right? They're making it more expensive to buy, and we're getting it for plus 105. So that's a really good price. That's going to be my second NBA player prop for today. Not a huge selection of plays today, but this next one that I liked was this Zach Levine under 2.5 made threes. The play is at plus 118 at Bet Rivers. We are getting it at plus 116. The OddsJam no vig line prices this at plus 116. So the gap there equates to a smaller win percentage, or EV percent, of about 0.87%. It's telling me to put $20 on this one. I normally round up if I like the play to half a unit, which for me would be $50. So I'd recommend $50 or half a unit on this one. But look across the board at where all the other sports books price it. Pinnacle, and this is so the three main sharp sports books that we have odds for all three. Pinnacle, BetOnline, and DraftKings. Now I know DraftKings is an onshore sportsbook, obviously, and I don't know if they use player data or their DFS data or how they why they're so sharp, but DraftKings actually is one of the sharpest, specifically with player props. So we use them to kind of as a sportsbook to kind of set the line specifically for a player prop. So if those three are in alignment and the bet that you're placing is an outlier to those three, that would be a good betting opportunity. And then if every other book is also an outlier, that's just icing on the cake, which is pretty much the case here. So FanDuel is the closest, and it is closer at plus 114. But look across the board at every other book. Every other book has it, we see ranging from minus 101 to plus 105. And then the three main ones, Pinnacle, BetOnline, and DraftKings, all have it around even money, plus 102, plus 104, plus 100. This is a good play. Zach Levine under 2.5 made threes. This is my third NBA player prop for today. This Jalen Green one is another good one as well, under 21.5 points. The no vig odds price this at about plus 109. We can get it at PointsBet at plus 110. Another play that I would put roughly half of a unit on. And look across the board. So DraftKings favors the under a little bit, over at minus 120, under at minus 110. But the higher odds we're getting in terms of plus money, obviously the less important it is for sportsbooks to favor the under. We just want to see an outlier. In this case, no book even has it for plus money. The closest is minus 105. So we see ranging from minus 105 to minus 110 to minus 115. Still an outlier. And since this is a point total, we might be able to find an example of where sportsbooks, instead of having their over-under at 21.5, might have it at a different number in general. So we can see there where sportsbooks price it. So it looks like the other sportsbooks that price it do price it above this amount by a point, but it's not as favorable odds. So to me, it makes more sense, a little bit more risky to get it at plus 110, but we're getting significantly better odds. So this is going to be my fourth and final NBA player prop for today, and that's all I got. So if you guys are tailing these, comment and let me know. Other than that, would appreciate a like, subscribe, a comment, as I mentioned, all that good stuff, and that's it. So enjoy the NBA slate tonight, and have a good one.